chasing wrong from right. Eyes like fire burning through the haze. Truth is a weapon, cuts through the maze. Some call her trouble, some call her brave. Digging up secrets they tried to save. A real deal around town. She's breaking it down, spinning the wheel, exposing the sound. They despise her, they praise her, but she won't slow down. Real deal around town. The truth's her cry. Shadows, they curse her name. Afraid of the spotlight she brings to the game. But the grateful ones, they cheer in the dark for the spark she ignites in their weary hearts. Some call her danger, some call her hope. She's the thin line on the tightrope. The sound. They despise her, they praise her, but she won't slow down. Real deal around town. The truth's her crown, yeah. The sound. They despise her, they praise her, but she won't slow down. Real deal around town. The truth's her crown, yeah. The truth's her crown, yeah.
Well, hi, everybody. I'm back again. Another busy day in Townsend. Lots of things to tell people about. This is great to have all this attention. Everything's happening in Townsend this week or the last few days, and I don't think it's going to quit for a while. I think this is great. Keep me out of trouble, I guess, or keep me in trouble. I'm not quite sure which. But a lot happened in Townsend today. I'm going to give a news briefing, I think. If you haven't heard, Townsend had a First Amendment audit. Yes, they did. Town Hall was buzzing this afternoon when Josh Abrams of Accountability for All paid a visit. He used to live here. He moved out of town a while ago. I don't remember exactly when, but he came back. He came back to check in and see how everybody was doing. And it went kind of okay. The police were called. It was a shit show for a few minutes. And then even the police had a good time, I think, from what I saw. It was so exciting. Josh had to go live. He wasn't going live, but then he went live. So if you want to catch the police interaction, you can go to his channel, Accountability for All, and look at the live feed that he did this afternoon. Otherwise, the full audit, which I was not part of, I just know about it, will be either tonight or tomorrow, depending on when he finishes the editing. That will get up. That will get posted to his page. And Yeah, I heard it was he went all over town, but I'm gonna have to save some of that for later, for you to watch his channel to get the scoop. And maybe tomorrow or so, I might add a little bit more information about that. And of course, I like to do commentary on things, so I might be able to pull up some of his stuff and give my opinion of what happened. I gotta add information to things, so we'll see how that goes. Also, you'll find out that although I had nothing to do with the First Amendment audit, that's not what I do. That's what Josh does, and he's really good at it. And I did meet up with Josh earlier today, and we got together and we did do a video. It was kind of it was very informative, I think, for the people. Both Josh and I learned a few things about what's going on around here, so that was pretty good. Thank you, Josh, for coming out and having that chat. And that video will be also that video that we did a video and going over a few things going on, and one being the lawsuit. I'll give you that much. And we let's see, we'll have the video up either tonight or tomorrow. Again, that also a lot of videos being recorded today, and there's just thing edits. I mean, videos like that require a little bit of editing to get them exactly the way you want. I think I think I mean, Josh likes to tell stories in between his as well. I might do the same thing, but I thought it went pretty well, so it may just be I might just post it. I don't know. No, I'll probably do it the same way I do everything else, and and do a running commentary as we as I present the video. So, but we'll both be presenting that video. So, and we'll probably put our own spin on it. So it's worth watching it for both of our channels. So that's if you don't know who Josh is, he's a First Amendment auditor. He goes all over the country, and a lot of people who follow that kind of video know who he is. And but Accountability for All is his channel. You can just search on YouTube and you can find that. And then I'll have my version up as well, probably tomorrow, because it's going on 7 p.m. tonight. This is Tuesday, I think. Yes. So I will this one, I don't know how long I'm going to talk to you tonight, so it'll be tomorrow probably. Unless I can't sleep, or unless I really want to get it out to you, I might do it. But I want to do another live with it, so I don't know. I'm just babbling now. It's just I mean, my whole day is like it's now slowing down. So here we are. So later this afternoon, the next thing that happened, see, a lot of things happening in this town. As I told you in a previous video, that, regarding the lawsuit, that the RFS Corporation had filed a lawsuit in at Middlesex Superior Court on October 7th is when the town was served. They actually filed it on the 29th, I believe, of September, but it got served on the 7th, and that's the day it starts, October 7th. And in that first, the lawsuit as it's submitted, and the town gets a copy, the court gets a copy, everything's filed, everybody's not so happy, but it goes in, and there's a whole bunch of statements made. Let me see. I'm not going to show you that right now. Let me see. I got it on my other computer here. There are, wow. 44 comments. With those 44 comments, the town is the defendant, and the town has to respond to all 44 comments. So, and I had said that nobody's got time. I mean, and a lawyer had to, I knew a lawyer must do this. You can't just some clerk. No offense to clerks, but you can't just have some admin staff respond. It must be a lawyer. period. If you're an individual, you can answer a civil suit like this, but I don't recommend it. Um, that's why I keep telling David to get a lawyer. Um, Jeez. So anyway, so the town, since the town is an incorporated entity, they're required by law to have an attorney represent them. Nobody in town hall can represent the town. It must be a licensed attorney. So we got one. As it stands now, our town council is the attorney of record, or the attorney at the firm. There's another attorney that's going to be representing us on this matter. I forgot his name. But maybe I'll tell you later. Maybe I'll tell you tomorrow. But because I don't know if I have it handy without looking up something else, and I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to waste your time if I can avoid that. So it so far right now it's town council, so it may or may not cost us a lot of money. I say may or may not. I'll get to that. It's not the liability insurance. And I believe I looked at the insurance policy, and sometimes things don't always, to a non-attorney, me, some things are fishy as far as not understanding. And I think it's possible that this particular liability insurance company in the policy, it seems like it's possible that they will pay for our attorney. I think, but I'm not 100% sure. As time goes on, I'll probably have a better answer for that. Maybe there's a public record between me and that answer. And if that's the way I read it, then they don't provide their own attorneys for lawsuits. We get our own, and they will pay for the defense of the lawsuit, which can get expensive if we lose. We'll get to that. So I've got 2 computers going. I don't usually do that, but because I need to read what the plaintiff said, because the town, in their response, they only gave their answers. Just like grade school, they didn't retype the question. They only put the answers in their response. And the answers, some of them are extremely short, like one word, and without a basis to go on. Like, well, what question were they answering? So I'm going to get it. I have to pull it up. Let's see. I'm going to pull up the answer pages, and we'll go from there. I got to do share screen again. Stand by here. Window. Let's see. Let's hope I pull up the right one. I have a couple of different versions, and I'll get in trouble. That's if I put the wrong one up. Okay, I got the right one. Okay, this is what it's going to look like. Hope everybody can see that okay. If somebody can't see this okay, please put something in the comments and in the live chat and let me know. And we'll go from there. I'm going to be on another page, actually, scrolling, because I love doing this, but sometimes I feel like I'm juggling. So, all right, this is the lawsuit is filed yesterday. That was the due date. So they met it just by the skin of their teeth. But like I was saying, that they didn't have a lot of time to get this in within the 20 days. And I figured that either one of 2 things was going to happen. One, they were going to ask for more time, which I guess they chose not to do that. Or maybe that's just not, the courts might not like that very much, and they wanted to get it done right. So they answered all the questions. And as we go through, you'll see that some of the answers are kind of wishy-washy. And I think that they were, in a professional way, saying, yeah, we didn't have time. So here's the best answer we can give you today, but we'll get back to you. You know that trick? I'll get back to you on that question. I think that's kind of that's what I read here. All right. So question number 1. The basic, I mean, some of the when lawyers play this game, it gets very interesting. I want to check one thing on my regular page first before I move on. Who's here? Okay. I'm going to lose sight of the chat for a little bit, but let me put, oh, where'd it go? There it is. Okay. The first question is very basic. Plaintiff RFS Corporation is a Massachusetts corporation with its principal place of business in Brockton, Massachusetts, and they gave the regular address. Okay, but the answer, defendant is without sufficient information to admit or deny the allegations in this paragraph of the plaintiff's complaint. Okay, they would just give, I guess maybe that, I suppose that's a true answer. The defendant can't say one way or the other whether or not that is true, whether the RFS really does have that office. Some of these will get you going, really. Okay, number 2. This is where it starts to get interesting. The defendant, the town of Townsend, I got to pull this in front of me because I can't. The defendant, the town of Townsend, is a body politic and corporate, that's not right. It should be corporation or corporate party politic. Oh, politic and corporate. Okay. Organized under the laws of Commonwealth of Massachusetts. At all times relevant to this action, Townsend acted through its water department as the awarding authority with its office located at 25 Harbor Trace Road, Townsend, Mass, through its select board with its office located 272 Main Street in Townsend. Now, remember, this is what the plaintiff said for question number 2. How the town responded to question number 2 is admitted insofar as defendant is a body politic and corporate, organized under Massachusetts laws. In all other respect, the defendant, the town, is without sufficient information to admit or deny the allegations in this paragraph of the plaintiff's complaint. In other words, the town of Townsend does not know whether or not the town acted through its water department as the awarding authority in the contract. The town doesn't know. That's what the answer. It's basically we don't know. And I do believe that at the time, trying to get this document out, probably the lawyer hasn't had a chance to read everything that came with the lawsuit and all the information about the bidding process, which makes perfect sense because the lawyers weren't involved with this until after October 7th. So even a good lawyer, even the best lawyer, will be struggling to get all the information in 20 days. So I'll give them a little credit, but this is kind of fun. I mean, I get a kick out of some of how lawyers function because they do this stuff. The words they use, we have insufficient information to know whether or not we live there or not. Do we have anything to do with this? Oh, I don't know. Okay, number 3, RFS is a construction company working in utility infrastructure and site development, including the development of water and sewer systems. The defendant, the town of Townsend, is without sufficient information to admit or deny the allegations in this paragraph of the plaintiff's complaint. Okay, I'll buy that. The defendant, the town, has absolutely no idea if it is true that RFS is a construction company or what kind of work they do. Have no idea. Even though, no, I'm not going there. Okay, number 4. This one is, okay. RFS received notification of the awarding authority's invitation to bid on the water main improvement project, which calls for the construction of a water transmission main and the construction of a finished water main in Townsend. Okay, number 4, defendant is without sufficient information to admit or deny the allegation in this paragraph of the plaintiff's complaint. The town has absolutely no idea if the town provided an invitation to bid on this project. I am going to be hysterical by the time I'm finished with this. Hysterical. This is, dear teacher, I didn't do my homework, but here's what I can't confirm or deny. Is 2 + 2 4? I can't tell you because I haven't had time to do my homework. Is 2 times 2 4? I haven't done my multiplication tables yet. I don't know. Okay. I'm sorry, I'm being silly now. Number 5, they're admitting to whatever this is. Upon information and belief, the Townsend Water Department hired a private firm, the engineer, before the project was announced to the public to provide engineering services, which included plans and specifications to enable the water department to invite bids for the project. We admitted that much, so the town knows that they hired an engineer to do some engineering services to develop the invitation to bid, I believe. I think. And if we take some of the other things that I've discovered, or what the town has, what their story is becoming, I think they're still shaping their defense. It's kind of interesting as I follow this from the beginning. The story is changing. Oh, it is. And I almost wish I had recorded some of the conversations I've had with people, but the story's changing. Or is it changing, or it's taking a different shape? It's kind of the words being used, following, because like I said yesterday, geez, time is flying by, that people they need to learn to shut their mouths. And then they're using the public. They're trying. All these people think getting the public behind them is more important than winning the lawsuit. They're trying to make friends with everybody and get the public, like as though the public's going to go put on frog costumes and go to outside the courtroom and protest the court case. I don't know. I'm getting, my head is spinning here. That when I see this, and then I know what was said in the water department or the water commissioners meeting, and I know some things that were given out today, and then what people said in June and July, it's changing. The story is changing. It really is changing. And the problem with that is everybody has to remember November 18th is coming, and that is the hearing, or that's a pre-hearing something that's going to be happening at the Ethics Commission. And then with David, and they got to tell the truth. David can't keep changing his story. That's all I have to say. But it's becoming obvious that the plan is getting developed. It's getting developed. How very interesting. Let's see, what question are we on? Oh, that was 5. Okay. I'm going to check one thing. Okay, all is well over there. Keep checking the actual live thing going on here rather than this form. Okay, that was number 5. We're going to go to number 6. All right, the question is, the engineer provided the water department superintendent, David Prigent, with plans for the project that were almost entirely complete for his use in inviting bids for the project. This is what RFS accused or made a statement to, and the town has to respond to that. And the town is saying that they admitted, insofar as the engineer provided Mr. Prigent with project plans. In all other respect, the town is neither admitting or denying, as the plans speak for themselves. I want to know what the plans said. I think I have a copy of the plans, not handy, but I think I might have a copy. Maybe. I might. I got a bunch of stuff. I just don't know which thing I have. I don't know which I have. Teacher, I didn't do my homework either. Okay, now we're going to go to 7. As you can see, oh, this is when we start getting into, I didn't do my homework. I have no idea. The awarding authority's invitation to bid for the project included a request for a bid on the base elements of the project and a bid for alternate elements that Townsend would choose whether to pursue at a later date. I know that's true. And the town is neither admitting or denying, as the invitation to bid speaks for itself. Okay, that is probably factually true. Yep, it is. It is what it is, and it will need to be interpreted in the as the lawsuit goes to trial, if it does. Number 8, this one gets bigger. The work for the base element of the bid base consisted of, among other things, construction of a 5,000 linear foot, 12-inch high-density polyethylene raw water transmission main to convey water from the Witches Brook wells along Ash Street, South Harbor Road, and Harbor Trace Road in Townsend to the site of a future water treatment plant. The work also included construction of a 1,115 linear foot, 12-inch HDPE, same high-density polyethylene, whatever, finished water main in Harbor Trace Road and roadway restoration. For if you live in Timberley Park or you had to drive through there, like to get down South Street and then try to get maybe all the way down to Emery Road to come across over to the center that way. Oh man. Was it like a year? I don't remember how long, but the road was really tore up. So I think all of us can say, well, somebody did that work, whether it was in the bid or not. Somebody tore the place up. And I think it's pretty nice right now. So whoever did the work, there's no complaint about the work itself. So again, the town is not admitting or denying anything, as the invitation to bid speaks for itself. Then the next piece is regarding the alternate elements. The alternate included construction of 8,600 linear feet. No, you can't be linear and square. Linear feet of a 12-inch HDPE looping water main along Emery Road, South Road, and South Harbor Road. That's what I just said, right? The place was torn up. Okay. So that was, I think they did all of that because the roads were really tore up. So again, the town's not admitting or denying. Okay. Whether it was in the bid or not, we don't know. It was. Anyway, 10. Oh, we're still in the same story. The alternate work also included 7 horizontal directional drilled culvert crossings of approximately 2,115 linear feet, installation of new hydrants and valves, and new services through property lines. Well, we got hydrants. So if anybody's house burns down, we got new hydrants down there. That should be very helpful. And number 11. We admit to something. Number 11, Shepco was a prospective bidder on the project. The town admits to that. Number 12. Okay. My goodness. We're getting spicy with words, as you can see. But the plaintiff says in number 12, Shepco is owned and operated by Gary Shepard. Upon information and belief. Like most likely, but we're going to hold back a little bit. Admitted. The town admits to this. Number 13. Gary Shepard is the town's fire chief. The town admitted to that. Okay, we got a little bit of admissions going on. This could be serious. Number 14. Before Townsend issued the invitation to bid, Townsend Water Superintendent Pajant sent the project plan drawings to Townsend Fire Chief Gary Shepard's private email at Shepco. Let's see. Number 14, defendant is without sufficient information to admit or deny the allegations in this paragraph of the plaintiff's complaint. We don't know. We don't know. We don't know. They should know. They really should know. Well, I guess the lawyers don't know because it has only been 20 days since this whole thing got kicked off. So they haven't had a chance to do the deep dive into people's emails, which the evidence is still there's development of evidence is still happening. So maybe the town needs to look in its own backyard. But of course, they're letting the plaintiff do all the work. I don't know. So number 15, Townsend Water Superintendent. Nope, wrong one. David Vigeant's email included a note to Townsend Fire Chief reading, "Here is the updated water lines that'll be going out to bid in 3 weeks." This is a problem. Anyway, that's just my ad. The town neither admitted or denied, as the alleged email and note speak for themselves. Okay, basically, alleged. It's an alleged email. I feel like I'm watching the Karen Reed trial. Did the call come in? What happened at 2:27 a.m.? That's what I feel like I'm doing here. It's 2:27. Do you know where your children are? Oh, brother. Okay. You don't know whether there was the email is real or if there was an email and a note, but if they were, they speak for themselves. So I guess the town is kind of saying, well, we might have to accept the fact that this email happened. What that email was all about, that's part of the story that's having some adjustments from what I'm hearing. What that was about. There's a different reason. That's a different reason for that. I don't know. What was in these people's minds in 2023? All right. Where are we doing here? Okay, what number am I on? I've lost. Okay, 16. Townsend Water Superintendent Vigeant did not forward the almost complete plan drawings for the project to any prospective bidder other than Townsend Fire Chief Gary Shepard. Did not forward those drawings. Okay. Number 16, the defendant is without sufficient information to admit or deny the allegations in this paragraph of the plaintiff's complaint. I can understand why the town would say that. We don't know if he did or didn't. Officially, that will all need to come out at trial if they go there. I still think they should settle. That's true. And I don't think I'm going to back off that. Number 18, upon information and belief, Townsend Water Superintendent Vigeant communicated about the project with Fire Chief Shepard separately and in addition to any communication he had with other bidders. Defendant is without sufficient information. We don't know. We don't know. How would we know? Yeah, I mean, this is how lawyers do their business. Oh, boy. 19. Townsend Water Superintendent Vigeant did not forward the final plan drawings for the... Okay. Townsend, yeah, okay. So this is kind of repetitive, but again, same thing. We don't know. We don't know. We don't have enough information. Okay, number 20, bidding for work on the project. The bids were open on March 30th, 2023. This is number 20. Neither admitted or denied. Okay. I want to know who was in the room. I want to know who was in the room on the bid opening. Anybody know that? Let me know. I might have that information buried in all the paperwork I have, but I want to know who was in the room for the bid opening. Because that would tell the tale of who's responsible for something. Some of these can easily be answered without just knowing that. Who was in the room and why were they there? So who was running the show on this bid? You wouldn't have every Tom, Dick, and Harry in the room. You would only have people that are responsible our contracting officer, I don't, I got to find out a lot. There's more I need to know of what was happening. And it was Board of Selectmen meetings where some of this stuff was decided. That may sound damning for the board, but it's a public record on what happened. There are meeting minutes, I think, at least on the water side, that have vanished in my mind. I don't know if they were ever there, but there's things missing. There's things missing. I gotta go looking. I don't know. I don't know what to think. So, okay, number 21. The RFS was the lowest base bidder and the second lowest total bidder for the project at around 5 something, blah, blah, blah. Okay. And the town doesn't know. Not admitting or denying, the bids speak for themselves. 22. Townsend Fire Chief was the second lowest base bidder and the lowest total bidder. Okay. This is where things will get a little bit complicated as they tear this lawsuit apart because, well, Gary was the lowest overall bidder versus the fact that he had information in advance. I think this is where the lawyers really go at it. Is one area. There's other areas that I think are dicey, but if there really is going to be a jury trial, the jury will be taking notes to determine this question. And they are not given these documents that we're sitting on. These documents will only come up in trial. The jury won't have them in advance like we do. So, but this is what I'd be, if the jury knows this, these two numbers, the 21 and 22, then they would make them start doing the math. So 23, the 23, Townsend awarded the project. Whoops, don't do that. Townsend awarded the project to Shepco as the putative low bidder, which is the whole project. And 23 admitted that the town awarded the contract to Shepco. Well, at least we're admitting that. In all other aspects, neither admitted or denied, as Shepco's bid speaks for itself. And they won't change that answer either. 24, after awarding the contract to Shepco, the contract was executed for the project by Townsend Fire Chief of Company Shepco and the town of Townsend on May 24, 2023. Let's see what the town said there. Admitted that the town executed a contract with Shepco. In all other aspects, they're not admitting or denying. Okay, I want to see, I think I have it. I got to see the contract to see if who signed representing the town of Townsend. That's where, I mean, it has to be a representative because the water department is a representative of the town of Townsend. They are not a separate corporation. They're not even a water district. So I don't know. I want to know who signed as the town's representative. Somebody had to. And it should have been, I don't know if I'm completely right, but I would think it would have been the town administrator at the time. And I'd have to look back to see who it was on May 24th, 2023. We changed. Well, yeah, it could have been Ross or Eric. Probably Eric. That's where things go south. In case you don't remember, Eric was an attorney. He wasn't working for us as an attorney. His job was as town administrator. So that gets dicey too. How much, my question in the air is, how much did Townsend depend on Eric to provide them with legal advice, even though he was not employed by us as an attorney? My second question is, how much did Eric offer for advice because he was an attorney, with the caveat, with no caveat, but in order to save legal fees for the town? I know of a couple of things that that occurred, well, it occurred as far as they did things without getting secondary legal advice, which when an attorney, a licensed attorney who's not employed as such, I don't know. I don't know how deep I want to go down that well, but I think that some of his his lawyer advice, I'm a lawyer, but I'm not a lawyer today, but here it is anyway. I want to know how many times did the town get really bad non-legal advice from that man, and how much trouble did it get us into? And I'm wondering if this is another one of those cases, because I'm sure Eric might be looking for a lawyer for himself, or I don't know, because I'm telling you, all of these people are going to be deposed, all of them. They're going to be deposed by the RFS attorney. Okay, let me go back. Let's see. So, okay. 25. The plaintiff says, under belief, Townsend's fire chief, Gary Shepard's company, Shepco, was able to achieve its status as a putative low bidder for the project due to the favoritism shown it by the town of Townsend, which included providing exclusive information and other special treatment. Flat out denied by the town of Townsend. Well, that's not the word on Main Street. Okay? Because. It's just because. We'll deal with that later. 26. RFS Corporation was not informed of the exclusive information and special treatment provided to Shepco until a Massachusetts State Ethics Commission investigator contacted RFS's president and asked questions about the bid process. Ooh, see, that's where this really took off, is when the Ethics Commission started sticking their nose into it. So 26, for the defendant is without sufficient information to admit or deny allegations in this paragraph as regards contact between the State Ethics Commission and the plaintiff. In all other respects, denied. So, 27. RFS subsequently learned that the Ethics Commission had issued an order to show cause to Vijant on June 18th. I know that's true, alleging a violation of the ethics laws for his conduct in sending the plans to Shepco without providing the plans to any other bidder. The town says neither admitted nor denied, as the order to show cause speaks for itself. And you have to remember that the ethics accusations are towards an individual. The town is not the defendant in the ethics complaint. Only David Vijant is. 28. RFS via counsel has made a public records request to the town of Townsend requesting documents related to the project. Neither admitted nor denied, as the public records request speaks for itself. 29. Townsend has failed and refused to fully respond to RFS's request within the 10-day time period required by Massachusetts Public Records Law. 29. The town just flat out denied that. I'm going to withhold statements on that one right now. Because we're just talking about the lawsuit. I don't want to talk about I don't want to bring in public records responses right now. I will later. Those of you that are focusing on that will be covered later. Count 1, breach of implied contract. Number 30, the plaintiff restates and reveres, I think, all preceding paragraphs of this complaint. Okay. Under the breach of implied contract. So, okay. Defendant incorporates its answers to paragraph 1 to 29 as if set forth in full herein. So this is a second section. I think the first section is kind of statements of fact. This is the breach, the count 1, the actual lawsuit is breach of implied contract. Number 30, the plaintiff Number 31, the awarding authority was legally obligated under General Law, Chapter 30, which is the contracting laws of Massachusetts, Section 39M, to award the project contract to the lowest eligible and responsible bidder in accordance with public bidding laws which include conducting a fair and impartial bidding process. That should be agreed to. The allegations in this paragraph state a legal conclusion to which no response of pleading is required. To the extent the allegations in this paragraph are intended to suggest wrongdoing on the part of the defendant, denied. They're just quoting the law. 32. The awarding authority was obligated to place all bidders on equal footing throughout the bid process and provide all information to all bidders to allow them to evaluate and bid the project in the same manner. That's also part of the law. The allegations in this paragraph state a legal conclusion. Same thing. I won't bore you. The awarding number 33, the awarding authority was obligated not to favor anyone, but that is true. Same answer. Number 34, RFS had the bonding capacity, resources, and experience necessary to perform on the project. It has performed similar project over its 30-year history. Defendant is without sufficient information. Yeah, makes sense. RFS is just at this point trying to provide that they are a responsible bidder. They are exactly what 35 says. RFS was eligible and responsible as a bidder under Massachusetts law. Defendant is denying. They don't know. They have no idea. I don't know. Which they wouldn't. I agree. I agree with the town on that one. 36. The awarding authority failed to award the contract on the project to RFS. Admitted that the plaintiff's bid was not accepted. In all other aspects, denied. So now we're going to 37 through 44. The town denies all of it. And just as a reminder, Townsend acted in bad faith by providing the crucial information to only one bidder, who was owned by a Townsend employee, in an effort to favor Gary Shepherd and interest. 38, were it not for the awarding authority's bad faith in giving favorable treatment to Gary Shepherd's company, RFS would have been the low bidder on the project and would have received the award for the project contract. Of course, this is denied by the town. The awarding authority's actions by way of the Townsend water superintendent constitute a breach of its implied contract with RFS to comply with the bid instructions and specifications. The awarding authority's actions by way of the Townsend water superintendent mandate a breach of General Law, Chapter 30, mandate to afford all bidders and prospective bidders fair and impartial treatment. Number 41, the awarding authority's special treatment of and awarding of the project contract to Gary Shepherd violated the implied covenant of good faith and fair dealing. RFS has been damaged by the awards authority breach of implied contract. RFS has been damaged by the awarding authority's breach of the covenant of good faith and fair dealing. And the final statement, prayers for relief. RFS states, RFS respectfully requests that the court award RFS court its damages from the defendant, including without limitation anticipated project profits, costs, and interest. In any other relief the court determines is just, equitable, and proper, and they request a trial by jury. The town said under prayers for relief that the defendants respectfully request plaintiff's complaint be dismissed with prejudice and judgment enter in favor of the defendant to all the claims of the plaintiff, that the court award its reasonable costs and attorney's fees. So basically, they have to state this about attorney's fees. Basically, in a civil case, the loser pays the legal fees for the whole shoot match. So this is another area that I'm like, can we please settle this case? If this is going to be on the taxpayers or the water takers, come on, people. We got too much at stake here. So, and that's the whole, I have no more to say about what RFS said, because now we're only talking about the town of Townsend. Let me just go on to this other page. We'll check to check something. Okay. All right. So affirmative defenses. So this is where the town gets to basically ask that this whole thing get thrown out, because this whole thing is berserk and it's frivolous and all that stuff. So number 1, plaintiff's complaint fails to state a claim upon which relief may be granted. I disagree. I think they made several, but I'm not a lawyer, so maybe there's some substance to that statement. Number 2, plaintiff's claims are barred in part or in oh, sorry. Jesus. Sorry about that. I didn't have oh, and my iPad's ringing. Everything's ringing here. If we can talk over my ringing phone. Okay. Plaintiff's claims are it'll stop in a second. Plaintiff's claims are barred in whole or in part by the doctrines of laches, estoppel, and waiver. This is a legal doctrines that I am unaware, but according to what the town is stating is that these are not claims that are allowed in this type of a lawsuit. I have no idea if that's true or not. Someone will let me know. Plaintiff has failed to mitigate its damages. I don't know how they're supposed to mitigate its damages since the building was already built and the plaintiff didn't find out about there being any things wrong with the bidding until this summer. The building was already built and the water was flowing through it, through all the pipes and everything. How do you mitigate damages after the fact? Okay, legal maneuvering again. Number 4, plaintiff's claims are not ripe for adjudication. Oh, not really? The claims are not ripe. How do you get that? But I mean, these are lawyers doing their thing, but this is kind of Hail Mary passes here, all of them. Number 5, plaintiff's claims are barred in whole or in part for lack of consideration. Consideration for what? Are they supposed to do a backroom deal? That's what we want. Of course, this is Townsend. Who am I to think there would be some other way to settle this? Number 6, defendant reserves the right to move for an award of attorney fees, costs, and expenses on the basis that all or substantially all of the claims herein are wholly insubstantial, frivolous, there's that word, and are not advanced in good faith post-judgment pursuant to General Law, Chapter 231, Section 6F. So I have to look that up, but that's not Chapter 30. The bad faith is regarding the contracting, which is Mass General Law, Chapter 30. I will look up, but not right now, although I could. What time is it? I could look up Chapter 231, Section 6F, but I'm going to at least look that up later. Oh, we've got more to go. Defendant reserves the right to add to and or amend its defendant. Oh, we can add more. We can. This document is just the start of the operation. We've got a lot more to do. And that's the town of Townsend. That's the name. This is the guy's name. Percy. I don't know how to pronounce that. Vaj? I think it's not vague. I'm sure his name is not vague. It's Vog. That's his name. C. Vog. I looked him up on the firm's website. So this is his name. Percy. I don't know if he goes by Percy. We'll find out. I will find out. Because he's going to show his face someday and some of this stuff. If nothing else, I'll see him in court if it comes to that, either on Zoom or in person. Some of these things, it's good to go in person. I believe this will probably be tried, if it ever gets there, up in Lowell at the Superior Court. If we get to trial, that's where I really can't say whether we'll get to an actual jury trial or not. But I think that there's going to be, it takes a couple years to get there. And I've been saying for a couple of weeks anyway, that every single person involved in this case is going to be deposed. And lawyers are good at lawyers that do this kind of work. They're very good at deposing people. And it's not, if you've never been in a deposition, I'll tell you what it's like. There's a court reporter in the room. You're at a table usually. You can do it on Zoom. I don't know how they'll do this one. A lot of times they'll do it on Zoom, but even if it's on Zoom, there's a court reporter in the room recording everything, and everybody's making you not make not just nod your head yes. You have to say yes, so that the court reporter can document that you actually had words coming out of your mouth. But you're asked questions, and they can be kind of sneaky. They are, it's not simply you've learned what the theme is here, and you just have to stick to the story. It's not going to work unless you know integral parts of what did happen. And if you put your foot in the wrong quicksand, you might not get your foot back out. And a lot of people are going to have to be deposed. And that includes, like I've said, everyone who served on the Board of Selectmen since this began. And I'm not talking about the bidding. No. I'm talking about when somebody came up with the idea that we're going to build this thing, or that we're going to try to, our PFAS numbers are bad. We got to turn off the spigot for a whole section of town. We got to do something. We're going to look into building this building. And when did those conversations begin? That's how far back, which isn't terribly far. I think we're talking about 2021 or 2022 at the latest. Because the bidding didn't happen until they got pretty far, further down the road to decide, what are we going to, when are we ready to actually break ground almost? So, but the conversations began in 2021 or 2022. And that's how far back the depositions are going to go. Who was on the Board of Selectmen when these conversations began? I remember Dave being in the room, Todd being in the room, in selectmen's meetings, when they were talking about what needed to be done. There were all kinds of conversations. I remember the water department had a pissing contest with the Board of Health, because the water department was saying that PFAS can get into the water by way of septic tanks. The Board of Health took exception to that, and it was just a shit show between them. And rather than dealing with the issue, the Board of Health took us down this weird path of our septic systems are not causing PFAS. And whether that's true or not is not even relevant, but that was what was happening. But there were lots of people involved with these conversations. And I think that the search for evidence is going to go back to when the conversations began about the even needing this building. So everybody that was on the Board of Water Commissioners is going to be deposed, all the way back to when did you decide you wanted to do this? And I think because of the culture in the town of Townsend, that's not the only way, but that's how RFS is going to approach this. Because I'm telling you, they're doing their research on who Townsend is. What happens here? How do we do business? How do we live? And who does the talking? Who is involved with the preliminaries? And the preliminaries on this project started when the state changed the laws on what the tolerance is in the water for the presence of these chemicals. And then our water was tested, and statewide, cities and towns are freaking out. There still are, because a lot of towns are still dealing with, they don't have a water treatment plant like we do. And they're still trying to figure out what to do. And, well, don't worry, Gary will fix it. I don't think so. Not a good idea. No, they won't be asking Gary to fix it, trust me. But they don't want to be on the front page of my channel. They don't. So but that's how far. This is the depositions are going back to 2020 2021, 2021, 2021, 20, 21, and 22, and then into 23. Oh, hi. Oh, I missed. I don't know. I don't know if Jim and Wendy are still in there. Just saw you. A couple of people bounced in and out, so I don't know if you're still here. But I wish I had seen that. When was that? Oh, that was just a minute ago. I probably missed you. Sorry. But if you came back, hi. Anyway, so we're going to go back that far. And I don't think that a lot of the people watching this. Oh, okay. Hi. I'm glad I didn't miss a chat item. Good. Thank you. Hope you enjoy it. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe if you'd like. If you haven't already, love to have you. I'll try to get some informative videos out here. So anyway, back to the topic. Yeah, so I don't think the people in town who are preparing to support the David and Gary on this and the town, because it's really getting more and more convoluted. More people are trying to jump on the bandwagon to support. Hey, Josh is here. So you missed my boring oversight of the whole lawsuit response. Everybody went to sleep on that one. But anyway, it's not as exciting as what you did today. So anyway, but yeah, all these people aren't prepared, I don't think, for the depositions to go back when PFAS was discovered. Okay, so because nobody's thinking that far back, everybody's focused on how the bidding process went. Oh, that's all they're looking at. Well, no, they want to know, how did the bidding process go the way it did? What did all of a sudden, David just decided to email Gary? All the names are starting to run in my head. Just in the middle of the bidding, when they were just at the bidding start? No, the whole project really began when it popped into somebody's head. And that was when the PFAS law changed. And the town became aware through testing that all the towns in Massachusetts had to go through, that our PFAS levels were too high. And then the Board of Water Commissioners are in the oh shit mode, and they had to come up with a plan on what to do. That's when the planning began on building that building behind us. On that day or that week that the PFAS problem showed itself, they didn't know it was going to look like this. I think our water experts, I think David Vajant, who I'll call it water expert, he knew that it was going to be a big deal to do water treatment. But then still, they all had to do research to sort out what is needed and how extensive and expansive of a project was needed to build this, and what kind of stuff he hired an engineer firm that we know, and then in which Todd yesterday, I showed Todd was trying to turf everything over to the engineer. Did it? No, the engineer didn't do shit. The engineer did engineering. The engineer did not violate the contracting laws. Jeez. But anyway, that's when PFAS was discovered. But David he engaged with other water experts across the state and at DEP and at different levels of government that regulates water in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, and probably as well as the federal government. I believe that our Congresswoman Lori Trahan was, or at least her office was, somewhat involved with some of the awarding of some of the getting Townsend on the list for some of the grants and loans, and trying to bring things together. And one thing, Townsend is credited for is getting on the bandwagon right away. But this lawsuit is going to go back to when was right away, and who was involved, and who was consulted, and how, at what point did anyone bring Gary Shepard into the conversation. And I think that door is wide open. And I think a lot of the people who are running around Townsend changing their story, or I shouldn't say it that way, redeveloping their response, redeveloping the story, giving more shape to it, and making it more plausible. And because it's changed from when I first spoke to David Vajant in the summer, between what I just heard today, what people were saying, oh no, this story has changed. This is not what David told me 5 months ago, or 4 months ago, however many months it was that I spoke to him. So, and when I've listened to our town board of selectmen as well, it's like, okay, the story's kind of the same from what I heard over the summer, but now that the lawsuit's filed, I'm hearing different language. And I hope that for their sake and for the taxpayers' sake, they're not changing the story in order to come up with some kind of scenario that's plausible out of nowhere, because it's got to go all the way back. And I'm not kidding. When was PFAS discovered to be out of range in our water? And what every single conversation that was had and who was in it, all the way back to then. And I think what we're going to find is something else. I can't say what we're going to find. I feel like the lawsuit here. Should I bring it up again? When oh, I can't. Wait a minute. Hold on. When they kept saying defendant is without sufficient information to admit or deny the allegation. That's what I want to say right now. I don't know. But it's got to match everything. The bidding documents, the excuse of why was David talking to Gary, and was Gary talking to David, or was David talking to Gary? How did this happen, and why didn't somebody check in with ethics? That's a new question I have, is that once David had some kind of conversation, once David either had the conversations with Gary, or once the bids were open, or once David knew what had just happened, that Gary won the bid, or that he had even bid. If Gary, well, all right, things are clicking in my brain now. If David knew that Gary was putting in a bid before the day of the bid opening, if he knew, he should have been on the phone with ethics, not to turn anybody in. No, to ask, I think this is happening. What should I do? And even involving whoever the contracting officer was supposed to be. And if it was supposed to be David, I know they gave him some kind of appointments as this went through, but I want to know when did David realize that Gary was a bidder? Did he know Gary was going to bid at any time? And with the ethics laws and the ethics, it's not amnesty, but it's save your ass. You're supposed to call ethics before something goes down. And ethics doesn't want you to call after the fact. But there's a point where there isn't a point of no return until you're really. David probably could have called ethics after he spoke to Gary the first time. Somewhere between that and once he found out that Gary was going to be a bidder. I suspect, I could be very wrong, though I'm not always wrong. I was told today I'm always right. Right? So anyway, if he knew then he should have called ethics and said, what do I do? What do we do? How does this happen? And I don't know if Gary might have been disqualified because he was involved in the pre-bidding evaluation. Because based on what I'm hearing today, from what the story is getting changed a little bit, I think that I think that he knew, and there's some parts of this that the town's still going to be, in my mind, the town is liable no matter what the story is, because the town is has the ultimate responsibility for their employees, no matter who they are, and no matter what they do. And the town, no individual employee can contract with anybody. The Board of Selectmen, and they're very vocal about telling you that they have to sign all contracts. This should be one of them. I can't think that somebody else would have signed the contract. This is the town. And even if some of this is subcontracting, I think that they may be trying to pull that one. That I want to know, who did Shepco contract with? That contract, I think I have that contract. My questions are starting to pop up now that I think I probably have the documents for. You know, when you're looking at things like this and you've got a stack of documents, sometimes you don't know what it is yet. You don't know what is it, and what do I need to know about this? Just having the contract doesn't mean I understand every leg that's attached to it. But now that we've got, the lawsuit has been filed, and now the town has responded, and just sitting here talking it out with you, I can look at this and say, wait a minute, I have more questions, which I probably have the answers to. I just have to lay out the roadmap now. And I think that, I don't know if the town's doing that. I know they're on damage control, but they're on damage control with the community. Despite me repeatedly telling people to shut up, they're not. They're talking more. Oh, Cindy wants us to shut up? Wrong. We're going to talk our way out of this, because they're more concerned about what the community thinks of them. And sometimes you just have to let the community vent, and you have to hold your ground and just stop talking and let things play out. It ain't fun to do that, but you're sinking deeper into the hole. And last night, when I showed the video from Todd, he talked to the chair of the Board of Selectmen during the meeting, because Lori Schifrin is the liaison, and Todd wants to give a presentation at the select board meeting and go over everything that's going on, so that the community will understand, so they'll stop talking shit on Facebook. Well, first of all, that's not going to change. People are going to talk shit on Facebook no matter what. So it doesn't matter what meeting you have, because nobody watches these meetings. I do, but I'm not going to help you. You're on a sinking ship. There's only like a couple of dozen people who check in on the town of Townsend's YouTube channel, because there's no commentary. When you're watching a meeting, if you don't know everything that's going on, then you're not going to be able to figure it out by watching the meeting. You have to watch them all, and you have to know the players, and you have to have the records that go with it to be able to put the puzzles together. That's why I have my channel, so I can do that for everybody. But the general public isn't going to tune in to the select board meeting. They would tune in to a public information center, presentation by the water department. But at this point, because of the litigation, I don't think that's a good idea. I think that there are statements. You know what's really funny? This is really friggin' hilarious. The Board of Selectmen earlier this year, hired a public relations firm. Yes, they did. They hired a public relations firm to deal with crisis. I want to bang my head on the table. Yeah, this would be perfect. This, I think they forgot. They're so wrapped up in this stuff, they forgot they hired a public relations firm to handle things like this. And okay, they that they would be able to guide the town through the public demolition that they're on. And I I don't know why they haven't called them. Because Todd's running their mouth, the select board's running their mouth, and there's a lawsuit, and they're still thinking that keeping the public informed, although it's a good idea, maybe it's not a good idea legally. That there people that are directly involved with this are running their mouth and they're telling stories, and half of them I don't believe are true. I think they're trying to develop an excuse and trying to develop a new narrative to play CYA with this case. And they're only going to make it worse. And if there is a town official here that's going to watch this, remind the Board of Selectmen that they hired a public relations firm, and they should talk to them at the same time that there's a lawyer in the room. And maybe Nelson or one of the select board members, I don't know, to have, so that you don't have to do it in open session. This conversation should probably not happen in open session, but having a representative of the board with who can make decisions and can talk sensibly in this conversation, but to come up with a generic statement that is supportive of, we're doing the right thing legally, we're protecting the town's assets, and we're taking this lawsuit seriously, and we're responding appropriately. But because it's pending litigation, we're unable to provide a full story here. But trust that it's the right answer, and then they can spend time explaining what a good thing the water treatment facility is. That goes without saying. It's a good thing. We have that. It's doing its job. It's a great addition to the town. But the problem here is the lawsuit and how we got this thing built. And they need to, I think if they can meet with an attorney and public relations firm at the same time, if that's something lawyers would even consider, and as well as the board, to come up with one cohesive statement from the town that's not all over the map. Because right now, everybody's releasing their own statements to anybody that will hear them, and they think it's helpful. I kind of want to be a fly on the wall in some of the Facebook groups that are out there that just, I hate them, but people talk over there, and I understand it's a mess. And the more people that talk, the worse this gets. And when the town responds to those people, it sinks the ship. And this is going from bad to worse. I was hoping for more juice in the response, the lawyer response, but I should have known it was going to be boring. But I don't think the town is taking the whole story as seriously as they should. I think they do refer to this as a frivolous lawsuit with no merit. And everybody admits that there were emails, but everybody comes up with an excuse as to what those emails were about and why they occurred. And they don't associate it with the contract that was bid on. And I don't know how they can not do that. And that's where damages is those emails. And I think there's more to it than the two emails. And I think the depositions are going to show that. And I think there are probably records that are accessible. I think some of them are right on the Townsend website. And I'm not talking about the public records section that's under the town clerk. I am talking about the public records that are like meeting minutes, the meeting videos from select board and water department going back to when PFAS, and even maybe there was a public hearing that we had in the Great Hall, in Town Hall, when they were talking about the PFAS problem, and the Board of Health was throwing a fit, like I mentioned a few minutes ago, because there was implications that I think it was Todd, I don't know who said it, but there was an accusation that some of the PFAS may be coming from the septic systems. And I think I'm not going to, never mind, I'm not going to go there. But the Board of Health took exception, and there was this whole fight. It's like, I felt like I was in a room where people were denying climate change or something. Same kind of thing. Like, come on, can we just get to the solution, and rather than fight over turf? But that's what happened. But I want to know when some of these conversations started, and I think that's what's going to be the surprise. Some of the surprises. There's always a surprise. We know that from the Karen Reed trial. There will always be surprises, and so the surprise will be what conversations happened even a couple years before the bidding happened, and the whole process. And I'm confident there are plenty of records, and the town can't go on a burn and destroy mission and get rid of records. They can't, because they're out there. Some people have been asking for public records for things for years, and I think a lot of us in the public have the records buried in our emails or in our hard drives, in our USB drives, in the cloud someplace, because we've asked for them or received things that we didn't even realize we were getting back. Especially when the PFAS thing was starting, I think several of us we wanted more information about it, and we got some records. And then watching the meetings, and I think there's a lot that we already, the town, don't try to destroy things because they're there. We already got them. We just have to go through everything. And and I think that's the surprise, the legal surprise may be what happened between PFAS discovery and the bid opening will be that time period. It's not just when did things go out to bid and that's it. No, this is much bigger. So, okay, we've been here for a while. I'm trying to think. I don't think there was anything more I wanted to share with everybody today. Let's see. Josh popped in here. I don't think he's still here. He doesn't stay. He's a hit and run kind of guy. Let's see if he sent me anything from earlier. Dum, 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 dum. I don't see anything. Nope. He's working on post-production on the videos from today. So, boy, I got a lot of messages here. Let me see. Nobody sent me. I don't think I have. Nope. I got a lot of Celine. Oh. Who's on YouTube? Nope. I don't think he's going to go on YouTube this late. He could be. I don't know. But a reminder for those that have you been coming in, going out, I don't know who's here anymore. But if, let's see, coming tomorrow, won't be tonight. It's after 8:00. I'm already tired. It's been a long day. So my cats would like to be fed. I think I'm neglecting them. No, I'm not. I fed them earlier. I did. But anyway, I'm going to be, I think I'll have the video sometime no later than tomorrow morning from Josh, and I'll give you the, get that out of there. I'll give you, yeah, I'll be producing another video no later than tomorrow, mid-morning probably. It depends on what time I get up. So I'll be giving you a video and tomorrow on the one that Josh and I sat down and we did an update on what's going on, including the information we had this noontime and whatever we had. Things changed after that. A lot of things changed after that video we did, but we'll be providing that. We're both going to be providing our version of that video that was produced. And then we'll see what I have and we'll see what Josh puts out, because he did a First Amendment audit of the town of Townsend. I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to let him surprise you with what that will look like. It was not uneventful. And like I said earlier, just as a spoiler, the police were called. Never a boring day in Townsend, especially if Josh and I are loose. So anyway, so I'm going to probably end it right here. I see I got a few people here. If you want to say something in the chat, you only got a few seconds to do so. So thank you everybody for watching and tuning in on getting this latest update on the lawsuit and the town's response. If you came in late, you can rewind or replay it later, whatever. It's there for you. And please, anyone who is so inclined, I would appreciate you to just hit the like button. I don't know what it does, the like button. It's nice to see how many likes that are on a video. That's always good. But it does help with the algorithm, they tell me. So it helps more people become aware of the message I'm sending and my important message of, or my important mission of improving transparency in Townsend and everywhere else. It's really important. Without transparency, we're doomed. And we really need it. We won't know anything at what's going on. And if you're not subscribed, I ask that you subscribe and hit the notification bell. That way you'll be notified when I have more videos, especially now, because this lawsuit stuff and some of the other things going on in Townsend are really, this stuff happening. And I know you want to know about it. You don't want to read it in an argument on Facebook. You want to get it from a reliable source. And I want to be a reliable source. So, and let me know if there's things you want me to talk about. My email that I use for this endeavor is in the description of the channel. You can find that. You click on Real Deal Around Town and it should bring you should be able to see channel information or more information. I don't know. But you could send me an email. Be nice in those emails. But also, if you subscribe and you can join my live chat whenever I'm on, or just put comments. I read everything. So just let me know what you think. And if you have any information to give me, people do contact me and give me some of this information. I do get from viewers. They get a hold of me and say, Cindy, did you know this? You should look into that. And some things I don't, but most things I do. But a lot of stuff I get is very informative on what the pulse of Townsend is. And it's really great to be able to share information about what is going on in this town. And it also, for those of you that aren't in Townsend, that are across the country or even in other countries, what happens here happens everywhere. Townsend, sometimes it feels like we're unique, we're an island. How can these people think that the laws don't apply to us? But I know that every community has this problem to some degree or another. And even the smaller towns, it's more impactful to smaller towns because there's one bad thing can impact more people or a percentage of the town than it would in the city. Sometimes things happen every day, you wouldn't even know about it. But in a small town, it's when something like this happens, this is really impacting everybody in a lot of different ways. So, all right, again, thank you for sticking around and watching this video and joining me. And I hope to see you on the next one, which will be within the next 24 hours. Let's put it that way, because I don't know what time I'll get that video out. All right. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening, and I will see you around. Thanks.